Zhu Yuan is a perfect representation of what it's like to be a police officer in America. She's stacked head to toe with different kinds of weapons and attachments for her guns, so she can John Wick your enemies to a fast grave. I'm sure she has a pencil hidden somewhere too. My name's Suka, and we're talking about Zhu Yuan. Zhu Yuan's basic attack, called Don't Move, unleashes a flurry of martial arts and bullets, then ether buckshots in a series of up to 5 attacks, dealing both physical and ether damage. On the 4th or 5th hit on the enemy, you obtain 1 enhanced shot shell, with a max of 1 that can be obtained per activation of this basic attack, meaning you have to redo the combination again to gain another enhanced shot shell. Also note that you can reposition yourself by dragging the direction key in any direction. Her basic attack, Please Do Not Resist, is a suppressive mode activated by holding your basic attack. She unleashes up to 3 shot shell piercing attacks in succession, dealing physical damage. But if Zhu Yuan has an enhanced shot shell, upon firing, 1 shot shell will be consumed, dealing massive ether damage. While using this skill, remember you can also reposition yourself by holding down any direction key. Her special attack, called Buckshot Blast, will shoot ether buckshots that deal ether damage, and this can be repeated 3 times by repeatedly pressing the special button. Her X special, called Full Barrage, with enough energy, shoots a series of ether buckshots that explode and deal massive ether damage. Upon activation, you gain 3 enhanced shot shells. Her ultimate Max Eradication mode uses modified Master Firearm to execute a saturated attack, firing lasers and seeking missiles to deal massive ether damage. Upon activation, you gain 3 enhanced shot shells. Zhu Yuan's first core passive is called Special Ops Ammunition. When Zhu Yuan is under suppressive mode, using enhanced shot shells increases her damage by a certain amount, starting at 26.6% until you upgrade it. When attacking stunned enemies, this damage buff will increase by an additional 26.6% for the first unlock, and when Zhu Yuan enters the battlefield, she immediately gains 6 enhanced shot shells. Her second core passive is called Tactical Coordination. When another character in your squad is a support character or shares the same faction, Zhu Yuan's crit rate increases by 30%, 10 seconds after using an X special attack, chain attack, or ultimate. So where does Zhu Yuan's damage come from? If we look at her first core passive, it notes using enhanced shot shells increases her damage by a ton, as well as attacking stunned enemies. So team building will be simple. We just need a stun agent and a support. But before that, her skills, enhanced shot shells. The only way to spend those is in suppressive mode when you hold down the basic attack button. I believe there's a max stack of 9 enhanced shot shells that you can hold on to. And let's talk about the ways that we can gain enhanced shot shells. First is the basic attack 4th and 5th strike. Second, we have the X special, which gives us 3. Dodge counter and quick assist gives us 1. And evasive assist follow-up gives us 3. And chain attack and ultimate both give us 3 as well. So our main goal is to stack up these enhanced shot shells and spend them all with suppressive mode by holding down the basic attack button. It's an extremely simple playstyle if I have to really think about it. You just build up shot shells and you spend it, that's it. And she deals a ton of damage. The multipliers on her suppressive mode is nuts. Okay, let's talk about Zhu Yuan's equipment options. First, W engine. The S-rank option, I believe her signature is Riot Suppressor Mark 6, which has a wonderful crit damage main stat. And for the effects, it increases ether damage by 25 to 50% depending on how many copies you have. Additionally, when you launch an X special, it grants 8 charge stacks, stacking up to only 8 times. Whenever your basic attack or dash attack deals ether damage, you consume a charge to increase the skill's damage by 45 or to 90%. Again, depending on how many copies you have. Zhu Yuan's biggest damage will come from her basic attack suppressive mode when she spends enhanced shot shells, which deals ether damage, so of course her signature weapon will be crazy on her. If you do want to save your polychrome premium currencies though, some 8 rank options we can pick. First, we have Cannon Rotor, which has a crit rate main stat, increasing attack by 7.5 to 12%, and attacks that land a crit on the enemy will inflict an additional 200% of attack as damage triggered once every 8 to 6 seconds, depending on the copies of Cannon Rotor you have. Another option is Starlight Engine, which has an attack percent main stat, and a very simple effect of launching a dodge counter or quick assist, increasing the equipper's attack by 12 to 19.2% for 12 seconds. Finally, the last option I would choose, Street Superstar, which is an attack percent main stat, and when squads launch a chain attack, the equipper gains a charge stack up to 3 times. On activation of the ultimate, the equipper consumes charges, and each stack increases the ultimate's damage by 15 to 24%, again, depending on the copies you have. So let's talk about drive discs that you can use for Zhu Yuan. I believe the best one currently that we can go for is Woodpecker Electro, with the 2-piece increasing crit rate by 8%, and the 4-piece, when triggering a crit with a base attack, dodge counter, or X special, it increases the equipper's attack by another 9% for 6 seconds. And each one of these attacks will provide a different stack of attack boost, so you can stack them and time it right, and you can get, say, about 18% attack increase if you time it right with the burst window. Chaotic Metal is another set that increases ether damage by 10%, and the 4-piece, your crit damage will increase by 20%, and when the squad triggers a corruption's additional damage, this effect increases further by 5.5% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. So this set is actually a very top contender for the first spot. So if you don't want to farm for Woodpecker Electro, feel free to farm for Chaotic Metal, because I think either will work perfectly for her. Hormone Punk is another option. 2-piece set increases attack by 10%, and the 4-piece effect whenever she enters combat or is switched in, her attack increases by 25% for 10 seconds, triggering once every 20 seconds. And finally, we can also use Puffer Electro, which the 2-piece set increases penetration ratio by 8%, the 4-piece increases ultimate's damage by 20%, and whenever you launch an ultimate, it increases your attack further by 15% for 12 seconds. So realistically, you can use any of these sets for your final 2-piece combination. Say if you have Woodpecker Electro, you can go for Chaotic Metal for more ether damage, or Hormone Punk, or Puffer Electro for penetration ratio. You can pick any of them, whatever you prefer. I think ether damage would be a better fit if you're using Woodpecker Electro, or if you're using Chaotic Metal, feel free to go for Woodpecker Electro to get more crit rates, or Hormone Punk for more attack. You get the idea. Pick the one you want, or pick the one with the stats you have least of. So what stats do we want? For our main stats on disc 4, we'll want either crit rate or crit damage. On disc 5, we'll want either ether damage percent, which is what I would go for, or you can go for attack percent if you want. Disc 6 will want attack percent on that drive. Substats will want both crit rate and crit damage, and then attack percent, and then we'll look for penetration or flat attack. Now with our equipment out of the way, let's see everything else. Let's talk about Zhu Yuan's team setups and synergies. First, we do need a support unit or someone from the same faction. I do recommend a support unit first, because support will always help us with either debuffing or buffing our agents. First, we have Nicole, who reduces the target's defense by 20% for about 3 seconds. And with her second core passive, when her first core passive applies a debuff to the enemy, the whole squad deals 25% more ether damage to the target for 3.5 seconds. This fits very well with Zhu Yuan because she deals a ton of ether damage herself. On top of that, her chain attack can also crowd control the enemies into the center together, so Zhu Yuan can finish them off with her fat giant ultimate. Another agent that we get for free, Sokaku, provides a ton of attack increase for the next agent that she switches into after doing her fly the flag combo. Though that is the only buff that would benefit Zhu Yuan. If you don't want to use Nicole, that's a fine option if you want. Otherwise, we do have Lucy, who provides the cheer on status to allies, increasing everyone's attack by 13% at the first level. And we have Rina, who increases penetration ratio by 6% starting at first level up to 30% whenever she attacks with her puppet. So in reality, I would fully recommend Nicole, mainly because she increases both ether damage and reduces the target's defense, which Zhu Yuan can take full advantage of. Now, we do want a stunning agent because Zhu Yuan's first passive increases damage buff by an additional 20% whenever she attacks a stunned enemy, and the fastest way to get to that is to have a stunned agent to do that for you. The first free-to-play option we have will be Anbi, who is a phenomenal stun agent, and we get her for free. Other options, you can go with Coletta or Lycaon if you have them, but if you don't, then just stick with Anbi. But any of the other agents will work fine. So I guess gameplay would look like, first, build up enhanced shot shells with Zhu Yuan. Do that with either the ult, evasive follow-ups, basic attacks, using your special, whatever you can think of. Just build it up before you start the burst window. Once you get a full 9 stacks of enhanced shot shells, get in your stun unit, stun the enemy, toss in your support, say Nicole, get her buffs out, and get in your Zhu Yuan to finish them off. Suppressive mode, ultimate, and your enemy should die pretty quickly. But that's it. That's Zhu Yuan. I am probably not going to pull for her because I already spent all my currency on Ellen, but she is a very cracked character. Playing her in the story, she is a very fun character to play. She moves fast, she hits hard. She's cool, she's great. Pull for her if you want. If you don't have Ellen, I think I'm gonna pull Jane Doe personally next, but we'll see. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.